Hey guys, Romero here with another video. Today we're going to be installing a JP Racing Stage 1 kit, plus additional mods. I have Alex here who's going to be helping me out. And we're going to be looking at the Stage 1, which consists of the catch can, the rear intake, and the tune. And we're going to be doing some additional supporting mods, which involves the intercooler piping, blow-off valve. Hey guys, so the first step in this is to take off the top cover, or the, I don't know if you want to call it the engine cover. We've already done that as we're in the process of doing an oil change. 13 bolts, I believe. The front two have a nut on the bottom.
So the first thing we're going to do, as Romero passed it on to me now, is we're going to get in here and we're going to show you. First, I think what I'm going to do is just loosen all these hose clamps up. There's one here on the charger itself, on the outlet of the charger for the charge pipe, the inlet to the intake of the charge pipe as well, out of the intercooler. And we're going to start loosening all those clamps up, pulling them out, and then we'll start installing the intake itself and the two charge pipes from Fizzle. So quick second, this right here is your crankcase vent. This vents directly into your intake, so we're going to take this one off as well because we're doing a catch can. This portion right here is for the TIAL blow-off valve. This is where it'll get its manifold pressure, and this will hold the TIAL closed, and when you let off the throttle, that sudden burst of air will let it shoot open. So install this into the manifold here. There was a little cover here that was in place. You just pop this off, pop this back into it, and then you can run the hose after we get to that portion. Just put this back in place.
Hey guys, so one of the things I recommend you do while you have this out, and whenever you have the top cover out, is to check the coolant hose clamps. These are known to cause issues with Seadoos, causing them to sink, as well as looking around your carbon seal to see if you see any like dust around that section. That lets you know that your carbon seal is going bad. So two preventative maintenance to prevent a sink through is to check those hose clamps and the carbon seal. Okay, so one of the supporting mods I'm doing is replacing the intercooler piping and adding a blow-off valve. Just a quick comparison of what the current hoses are there. As you see, they flex, extremely flexible. They expand under pressure, whereas these Fizzle ones are pretty sturdy. They are reinforced, but as you can see, comparing these to the Fizzle ones, they're completely different. Also, we are adding the rear air intake with a catch can, and the reason you want a catch can is because you see on the current air intake, it has a little bit of oil there, a little bit of oil residue. That's normal. It's a blow-by. Adding the catch can will help prevent that, and the rear intake will help the engine breathe a little bit better. Currently, the piping for the air intake goes all along the side up to the front, try to get some fresh air. Adding the rear intake allows it to suck in any air from the engine compartment. It does have a small side effect of it will suck in warmer air instead of just the fresh air, but that's a minor inconvenience compared to what it does provide, which is a lot more air, allows the engine to breathe better.
Alright, so we're going to go ahead and install this charge pipe, and the one thing I was just showing Romero, this here is the stock clamp, and these are the clamps that Fizzle provides. I'll give you a close-up on this. As you can see, even on what I do on a daily, I don't like seeing these here, because when you tighten it down, that's going to end up getting into your silicone. So Fizzles, shit, that's not Fizzles. So the Fizzles, you don't see that. It's completely smooth on the backside, so there's no chance that this is going to dig into your silicone pipe and end up cutting it, and ultimately you may end up blowing off this charge pipe, and that'll be your day because it's cut, blown up, and that's that. So make sure you use the provided hardware that Fizzle provides. Provide. So a little tip, I try to do this often. I mean, oil may end up making it swell a little bit. I did this on mine, it didn't really make a difference. I don't have anything else with me to make it slide on a little easier. That way you're not fighting it. I just take a little bit of oil from our oil change kit here and just slide it into the silicone. I'm not trying to keep it drenched, just enough to where it's not two dry parts going together. You know, you don't want dry stuff going together. It's a bad time for everybody. So we'll lube these up a little bit and slide this in there. Get it on the charger back there, the intercooler. This side onto the intake. No struggle, no nothing. Just like that. And we'll tighten these clamps up. Then we'll move on to the one from the supercharger and show you how to do the blow-off valve install. All right, so now we're gonna install the blow-off valve on the charge pipe from the supercharger to the intercooler. Just a little O-ring here. I already installed this little cover into the boot. So we'll put this on. Okay, so with the blow-off valve sitting on the charge pipe, I'll rotate it to where when you look in there, you can see the TIAL logo. That's just a little preference, little fun thing. We'll slide the collar around it. Install our Allen head screw into the little fittings there and tighten that down by hand, so then I can let this go. Romero has these on a leash.
It's like a 10mm, man. They go missing.
They go loose. So, screw that down. We'll tighten that up before I install it fully. Alright, so we got the charge pipes installed. There's one thing that I've noticed on these. The one that I did on mine, on my 230, and now on Romero's 300. If you want to zoom in here, let me see. Grab this from you. So down in here, so there's your blow-off valve. Down in here, there's this hose that goes into the, what the fuck is it called? So there's this hose here that goes into your intercooler. This hose here is usually a little bit longer, and I have to trim it down so this will clear the blow-off valve. If not, it'll rub on the blow-off valve, and then you'll have a leak, and you don't want a leak. Then you turn into a Seadoo and not a Seadoo. So next up, we're gonna put the intake onto the supercharger, and yeah. All right, so before I install the intake, JP Racing has this filter cover. You know, if you have ever had a K&N or anything like that, every company has it. JP has it. The filter that actually comes on these, if you look at it, it's very, very, very fine. You can see right through it. There's no real material to block anything. Think of it as like a turbo guard on those big supercharged race cars. So this sock here helps a lot, mainly with like water intrusion. If you have any water in there or you're washing it off with the water hose, it helps with water that splashes in. It's not going to fall in through those big mesh into your supercharger, and then you start it and that water goes straight into your intake. You'll hydrolock your engine. So if you do this, highly recommend this sock. All right, so now that I have the intake installed and they're pretty good, I almost forgot about this. The blow-off valve's not gonna work if you don't have this. So this side connects to the top of the blow-off valve, and then it will run down in here. So this is the little bracket that I showed you earlier. this little brass bracket, that goes into the intake, and that's what keeps the blow off valve closed until you let off the throttle. And that boost pressure that's in there, that's where it'll open up and let that all out. So we'll install this, and then after that we'll move on to the final part to put on, catch can. So next we're going to move on to the catch can. So the place this catch can installs at, it's actually on the front of the engine here. I don't know if you can see that. I already kind of loosened the bolts up. It's the front engine hoisting bracket. Take those two bolts out and the catch can will replace it.
Alright guys, we realized that the fit for the catch can is a little bit tight, so to make a little bit of room, we're gonna remove some of the zip ties, attach the wiring harness, and we'll replace those zip ties once we complete the install.
Alright, so we got the catch can installed, and now I'm just gonna install the breather from the CV over to the catch can itself. It's a little long, so just gonna kind of measure it out and cut it, slide it on there. Alright. See what I was telling you about? How the way it has to go on there, it curves, it fucking makes a bend.
Would it make sense to make it a little bit longer so that it gets rid of that kink?
Probably.
Alright guys, so we went ahead and replaced the zip ties. We installed the hose, so catch can is in. I did want to talk about an additional piece that does come with the JP kit, is this little snub cover, vacuum cover. So if you have the stock air intake in, when you install the catch can, you remove this tube right here and you use this to cap it on. In this case we don't need it because we do have the rear intake, air intake. So in this case it's just an additional piece.
We got JP Racing's flash adapter. This is his OG flash adapter before the HP tuners. This is how he used to do it. The connector here, this is a BRP connector. This usually connects in here into the coolant reservoir. Now Ramiro beforehand did have a SCOM installed, the speed control override module, but it wasn't working out for him. So we're gonna ditch this and do the true stage one. So we got this plugged in, got the ski turned on, we got it connected to the program here. This is JP's program that he sends. You can download it off his website. You see here at the bottom, hardware, ECU, everything's connected. Our PWC, the year, what Seadoo we have, and our tune count. So what we're gonna do here is just click flash. You ready? Ready, Ramiro? Ready to go fast?
Ready, man. Now we did set the ski to battery mode. That's when you attach the key and the LCD screen is on, but the motor is not on. And that's what's needed so that the computer can connect to the diagnostic port to perform the tune. Alright guys, so we went ahead and completed the tune. Software updated successfully, so now we're just disconnecting everything and we're going to do the first startup here in just a moment. As soon as Alex is done.
Well, we've started now. The ski has now powered down.
Doing his thing.
Per the instructions, they said power it down.
Alex is taking his time.
I'm not taking my time. You're paying me by the hour, okay? So we didn't brick it, it runs. Now for the water test.
Let's go. Hey guys, Ramiro Hill with the first ride with the JP Racing Stage 1 tune and supporting mods. Right now feels pretty normal. It actually feels slightly smoother than stock, which is interesting. Usually with the stock ride it does feel a little bit rougher when it idles. That usually goes away once you put some load on the engine. But right now it actually feels pretty good.